Hello students, I am Dr. Ravi Kiran Vakade welcomes you to the presentation on controlled release drug delivery system. So in this chapter, various points we are going to cover, like what do you mean by controlled drug delivery system, or previously we will see what do you mean by novel drug delivery system, what are the differences between controlled release and sustained release, what are the advantages, disadvantages of controlled release, as well as we are going to study various formulation approaches of sustained release or controlled release drug delivery systems. So before starting, we must know what do you mean by a drug delivery system. Up to now in pharmaceutics, various drug delivery systems or dosage forms we have studied. But what is the ideal goal of any drug delivery system? So first of all, what do you mean by drug delivery system means? It is a term which refers to the technology which is utilized to present a drug to the desired body site for drug release and its absorption and ultimately for pharmacological response. So in short, we are designing any drug delivery system or dosage form to increase the safety, efficacy and elegance of the drug material or the product. So whenever we are designing any conventional drug delivery system, so in that conventional drug delivery system there are so many disadvantages. So to overcome that disadvantages, we need to design a modified release or a novel drug delivery system. So novel means new type of drug delivery system. So here we will see the history of development of drug delivery systems. So in pre-pharmaceutical era, there was only the various herbal formulations were present. Then after that, the conventional dosage form like pills or oral liquids came. After that, tablets came, compressed tablets came, and from 1950 there were the scientists or the pharmacists realized that there is a need to alter or to modify the release pattern of drug. So from 1950 to 1970, it was the era of sustained release drug delivery system. So sustained means what? Nothing but slow down. As we know that in conventional drug delivery system, we have to take the doses for twice daily or maybe thrice daily or maybe 4 times a day. So to prevent that or to increase the patient compliance, the dosage forms were given in a slow release format. So that is called as sustained release. After that, from 1970 to 1990, it was the era of controlled release drug delivery systems. So controlled release drug delivery system, it is somewhat modified version of sustained release. What do you mean by controlled release? We'll discuss in next slides. And post 1990, it is called as a modern era of controlled drug delivery technology. So modern era means what? In controlled drug delivery system, the drug is given at predetermined rate, and in modern era, as we know that ethically it is not permitted to give drug to a healthy person. So similarly, why we should give drug to the healthy organ? So if suppose you are suffering from infection in stomach, why your drug should go to the other tissues? So that's why that modern era of controlled release technology is focused more toward the targeted drug delivery system. Now we'll see what are the disadvantages of conventional drug delivery system. Conventional drug delivery system means simple tablets, uncoated tablets, oral drug delivery system, or oral liquids or injectables, that in which the drug release is not modified. So in conventional drug delivery system, main disadvantage is fluctuation in drug concentration levels. So as we know that if we are giving conventional drug delivery system therapy for 5 days, means the dosage regimen is thrice a day, means after every suppose 8 hours we have to give the one dose of drug. So this graphically we can see, suppose at time 0 we have given the first dose. So in biopharmaceutics we have studied the drug will be absorbed, the concentration, plasma drug concentration will increase, and it will reach the minimum, or it will reach the therapeutic window, means it is above minimum effective concentration. So in this area the drug will show action, pharmacological action. After that the concentration will come down. Here we are giving the second dose, here we are giving the third dose, means this is the highest concentration, this is the lowest concentration, again high concentration, low concentration. So this is called as fluctuation in drug concentration level. And as we know that pharmacological response of drug is quantitative in nature. Now what do you mean by quantitative in nature? As we know, as the concentration of drug at the site of action is more, definitely the intensity of pharmacological response will be also more. That's why it is the pharmacological response is called as quantitative in nature, means at high concentration the pharmacological response will be higher, or the intensity of pharmacological response will be higher. At low concentration, intensity of pharmacological response will be low. So definitely the patient is not getting similar kind of pharmacological response throughout the therapy. So that's why this fluctuation in drug concentration is a main disadvantage of conventional drug delivery system. Other disadvantage is poor patient compliance, means patient has to take the medication twice or thrice daily, or maybe more than that. Again, in conventional drug delivery system there may be increased chances of missing a dose for the drugs which are having short half-life, means which are having or which require to be very frequently administered. So if dose is missing, and especially in case of antibiotics, definitely the therapy, the effect of therapy will not be that much efficient for that particular patient. So these are few disadvantages, or what we can say limitations of conventional drug delivery system. That's why we have realized, or scientists have realized, that there is a need of some modified release drug delivery systems. So for a drug delivery system, how should be a ideal dosage regimen? Dosage regimen means how much dose we have to give and how frequently we have to give. So this is the graph representing the ideal dosage regimen, means at time 0 we are administering the drug, after some time it will reach a therapeutic window that is just above the minimum effective concentration, and then the constant level of drug concentration, plasma drug concentration should be maintained throughout the period of therapy. So this is the ideal dosage regimen. So graphically it looks very easy or very simple to get such kind of graph, but practically it is quite difficult to get such kind of plasma drug concentration of any drug by any route. So that's why there is a need of novel drug delivery system. So novel means what? Novel means new, modified. It may be immediate, it may be slowed down, or it may be sustained. So novel drug delivery system have been developed to overcome the limitations of conventional drug delivery system and to meet the need of the healthcare profession. So novel drug delivery system can be characterized into immediate release, sustained release or controlled release drug delivery system, and targeted drug delivery system. So there are actually number of types of novel drug delivery system. Broadly they are called as are divided into two classes: immediate release and slow release or prolonged release. So in that also various names we are using, like sustained release dosage form or drug delivery system, sustained action drug delivery system, prolonged action, control release, extended release, time release. These all terms are more or same, but slight difference in their meaning. So what is the difference here? Sustain, the meaning of word sustained release means just slow down the release. Sustained action means slow down the action. Prolonged action means for extend, means it is, we can use as a synonym for sustained release. Controlled release, commonly controlled release dosage form, they are used as a synonym for sustained release, but word to word meaning of controlled release is that the release of drug at predetermined rate, means we are predetermining how for, means for after how much time my concentration or my dosage form should release this much concentration or this much percentage of drug. So that is called as predetermined release of drug at predetermined rate. So if we are able to achieve that predetermined release rate of drug, then it is called as controlled release dosage form. Extended release or time release means we are extending the release, means if we need, suppose, the release of drug after 6 hours. So one short example I will give you here. Say for example, any anti-asthmatic drug if you want to give, we know that the asthmatic attack is more severe in the early morning hours, means at suppose 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. So definitely for a drug after its administration to show the pharmacological response, it may take at least 30 minutes. So it is not practically possible to take a drug or dosage form at 3 a.m. So what we can do, we can plan or we can design an extended release or time release dosage form, means a dosage form which releases the drug only after 6 hours. So what will, in such case, what will happen? Suppose if you are giving the tablet to the patient at 10 p.m. means at bedtime. So definitely after 6 hours means at 4 a.m. the drug will be released and you will get the necessary action of drug at necessary time. So such dosage forms are called as extended action or time release dosage forms. Similarly, in novel drug delivery system there are injectable dosage forms also. Injectable dosage forms like sustained release suspensions or implantable dosage form that comes under injectables. As well as in case of injectable drug delivery system, the main advantage is we can sustain the action for months to some years also. In some cases of novel drug delivery system, another approaches for sustained action we can use, like previously we have seen sustained release or slow release, but sometimes the release, without altering the release, we can get the sustained action. One example is beneficial drug interaction. Here one example of beneficial drug interaction is when we are giving probenecid with penicillin, means penicillin is a drug which are having very short biological half-life of 90 minutes. So it is extensively excreted from kidneys by glomerular filtration and active secretion. So when we are giving probenecid with penicillin, so it will increase the blood level or half-life of penicillin. So how it gets? Because by active secretion the probenecid will compete with penicillin for the active secretion of drug, hence it increases the half-life of penicillin. So this is one example of sustained action. Similarly, there are various types of novel drug delivery system, like carrier based drug delivery system like liposome, nanoparticle, microspheres, monoclonal antibodies and so on, as well as transdermal drug delivery systems also can be used for preparation of various novel drug delivery system, or it is also one of the part of novel drug delivery system. So what is exactly meaning of sustain or control release dosage form? So it is nothing but a drug delivery system that is designed to achieve a prolonged therapeutic effect by continuously releasing the medication over an extended period of time after administration of single dose. This is the main advantage, because in conventional drug delivery system we need to administer dose more frequently, so it is not compatible, or patient compliance is not achieved. So that's why we are trying to design dosage form which will give the extended release, means once a daily dose we are trying to achieve by sustained or controlled release dosage form. And the basic goal of therapy is to achieve steady state blood levels that is therapeutically effective as well as non-toxic for an extended period of time. And the design of proper dosage regimen is an important element in the accomplishing this goal. Means what dose and at what frequency we have to give dose, that plays very much important role in achieving the steady state blood concentration of the drug. Now we'll see what is the difference between controlled release and sustained release dosage forms. So in most commonly, sustained release and controlled release, these are synonymously used terms, but exact definition wise, sustained release dosage form means these are the slow release dosage form, and controlled release, they are also slow release, but they will release the drug at predetermined rate. So sustained release, generally it contains two portions of drug, that is, first portion is initial dose, which is meant for immediate release. It is also called as loading dose, which will help to achieve the therapeutic level as early as possible. And second dose is maintenance dose, which releases the drug slowly to give the therapeutic or to maintain the therapeutic level for prolonged period of time. Same kind of dosing can be also given in controlled release also. And controlled release drug delivery system, it constitute dosage form that maintain the constant drug level in blood or tissue, while sustained release constitute dosage form that provide medication over an extended period of time. Controlled release maintain the constant drug level in the blood target tissue, usually by releasing the drug at zero order pattern. As well as controlled drug delivery system contain methods to promote the localization of drug at active site. So localization of drug at active site means it is possible to target the specific organ or specific tissue of our body, means drug targeting is possible, while in sustained release general intention is to just slow down the release, not the targeting. And main speciality of controlled release drug delivery system is that the zero order release kinetic is possible, means drug releases at zero order kinetics, while in sustained release drug do not release at zero order kinetics, means it releases the drug at first order kinetics. So briefly, sustained release means slow release implies to a drug or a slow release of drug to over a period of time, and it may or may not be controlled release, means every sustained release dosage form is not a controlled release, while every controlled drug delivery system is a sustained release dosage form. Now briefly we will see what is the difference between first order release kinetic and zero order release kinetic. So one short example I will give you here. Consider if you have given or administered 100 milligram tablet of any drug. So first order means proportional release. Say for example, drug release from the dosage form is 10% per hour, means this is that 100 mg tablet, and in 1 hour suppose 10% drug, that is 10 milligram drug is released. So drug remaining to be released after 1 hour is 90 mg. Again in next 1 hour, means in second hour, again 10% of drug will release. So as we know that first release kinetic means the kinetics which are dependent on the amount of any of the reactant. So here the concentration of drug release is dependent on the amount remaining to be released. So in second hour 10% of 90 mg will release, means 9 mg will release. So drug remaining to be released, it is 81 mg. In third hour 10% of 81 means approximately 8 mg. In fourth hour approximately 7.3 mg will release, and in fifth hour approximately 6.5. Means initially when the concentration or amount of drug is higher, the drug release rate will be higher, and as the time goes on, the release rate will reduce. So graphically we can see here. So this is the plasma concentration versus time profile of a first order release kinetic. Initially the drug release is very high, faster, then as time goes on the drug release is slowed down. In contrast to this is zero order. Zero order kinetics means we know the release is independent on the concentration. So initially the tablet contains 100 mg of drug. Suppose in every 1 hour 10 mg of drug is released, not 10% here, 10 mg drug is released. So after 1 hour 10 mg drug will release. So drug remaining to be released is 90 mg, which is same as that of first order. But after that in second hour again 10 mg drug per hour is the release pattern. So whatever the drug amount, drug remaining to be released is there, that rate of release will be constant, 10 mg per hour. So in second hour also 10 mg, 80 mg remaining. Third hour again 10 mg will release, 70 mg remaining, again 10 mg. So whatever the amount of drug remaining to be released, 100 mg or maybe last 10 mg, in 1 hour 10 mg drug will be released. So this pattern or of release is called as zero order release kinetics. So the curve will be a straight line like this. Then here we will compare the plasma concentration versus time profile of various doses form. Like immediate release, definitely as the release rate is very high, the plasma concentration will immediately increase and it will come down also. In sustained release, as it is a slow release, the therapeutic means onset of action here. Onset of action will be also slower because the release is slow unless you are giving a initial dose or loading dose. Then after that the release rate, the drug will release slowly, and this kind of curve we can get in sustained release. While in zero order release, if you are giving initial or priming dose, the therapeutic level will be achieved, and as the drug is releasing at zero order kinetics, constant therapeutic level is maintained, which is ideal and practically very, very difficult to achieve. Then what is the rationality in designing controlled release dosage form? So the basic objective of dosage form design is to optimize the drug delivery to achieve the control of therapeutic effect in face of uncertain fluctuations. Means we should try to reduce the fluctuations in the plasma drug concentration. So this is usually concerned with the maximum drug availability by attempting to attain a maximum rate and extent of absorption, means to increase the bioavailability of drug. Again, another rationality in designing controlled release is to increase the patient compliance by reducing the dosing frequency. Then maximum utility of drug. As we know that in previous graph of conventional drug delivery system we have seen Yes, here in this graph. So if we are, the drug is fluctuating, means see this line is of minimum effective concentration. So as the drug is going into therapeutic level, it is showing action, and as it is coming into subtherapeutic level, means this time period, in this time period, though the drug is present in blood, but it is in subtherapeutic level, so this is waste of drug. Here also this is in subtherapeutic level, so this is waste of drug. So when we are wasting drug in conventional drug delivery system, so what we can do, if we are able to maintain the plasma drug concentration in therapeutic range for a longer time, then definitely the therapy will be successful. Because when therapy, means what is the key for success of any therapy, if we are able to maintain the plasma drug concentration within therapeutic range throughout the period of therapy, then definitely we are able to achieve the main goal of any therapy, or we can treat any disease in shorter period of time. So there is the again rationality, that is maximum utility of drug. Then effective therapy, just now we have discussed. Then the concept of sustained release formulation. The concept of sustained release formulation can be divided into two considerations: release rate consideration and dose consideration. So first, release rate consideration. So whenever we are administering any dosage form, so first after administration it will release the drug will come out of the dosage form. So this step is called as drug release, and it is governed by the KR, that is release rate constant. Then after release, drug is available in the absorption pool for absorption. Then it will be absorbed into the systemic circulation and towards target area. So this process of absorption, it is governed by absorption rate constant, that is Ka. So in conventional dosage form, generally Kr is, that is release rate constant, is quite higher as compared to absorption rate constant, because in conventional our intention is that the drug should release as quickly as possible. So Kr is quite higher as compared to Ka. So generally the rate limiting step is Ka, that is absorption rate constant. Exactly opposite to this, in sustained release or non-immediate release, the Kr is slower as compared to Ka. Means in this graph we can see here, if we are, now we will see the concept of sustained release formulation. Now concept of formulation means what things we must keep into consideration while designing a sustained release or controlled release dosage forms. So basically the concept of sustained or controlled release formulation can be divided into two considerations. First is release rate consideration and another it is dose consideration. So first one, release rate consideration. We know that whenever any dosage form we are administering by oral route, so first that dosage form will dissolve or it will release the drug, and this step is called as drug release, and the drug will be available in the absorption pool, means at the site of absorption for absorption purpose. And next step is drug absorption. So first step, drug release, it is governed by rate constant, it is called as Kr, that is release rate constant. And second step, that is drug absorption, it is governed by the constant, that is Ka, it is called as absorption rate constant. And after absorption, drug will go into systemic circulation and it will be go towards the target area and then elimination. So generally in conventional drug delivery system, what is our intention? As soon as our dosage form is administered, it must release or it must disintegrate and it must release the drug as early as possible. So this is the basic consideration. So release rate must be higher, so in case of conventional dosage form. And definitely we know that next step is drug absorption, And drug absorption for most of drug, it is occurs by a passive diffusion. So passive diffusion absorption occurs throughout the length of GIT. Again, that's why it is very quick. But compared to this drug absorption, drug release rate is quite higher in case of conventional dosage form. So this is the basic consideration in conventional. So generally in any reaction, which step we are calling as a rate limiting step? The slowest step we are calling it as a rate limiting step. So the drug absorption is slower in case of conventional. So generally drug absorption is a rate limiting step, not the drug release. And suppose now we want to design a sustained release formulation or controlled release formulation of any dosage form. So what we can do, what approaches we can go for? We can go for either reducing or retarding or slowing down the drug release or slowing down the drug absorption. Now think which step or which thing is easier to control, whether drug release is easier to control or drug absorption is easier to control. Yes, definitely drug release is easier to control, because we know that in formulation we can add or we have availability of various types of polymers, and we can vary their concentration, and release rate we can vary. It is somewhat easier as compared to the slowing down the drug absorption rate. So this basic concept we are keeping in mind while designing sustain or control release, that is we have to retard or slow down the drug release rate. So in case of conventional, as we have seen, Kr, that is release rate constant, is quite higher as compared to absorption rate constant. But in sustained release, this Kr, release rate constant, we are reducing, we are trying to retard. So definitely exactly opposite of conventional. In sustained release, the release rate, it is slower process, and the assumption of compartment modeling is that as soon as drug is released, immediately it must be absorbed. So absorption is much quicker. So in case of sustained release drug release system, Kr, that is release rate, is much slower as compared to the absorption rate. So this concept you should keep in mind. Means whenever we are designing any sustained release, we should try to retard or to control the release of drug, not the absorption. So that the efforts for developing sustained release or controlled release formulation must be primarily altering the release rate, not the absorption rate. And ideally the release rate should follow zero order kinetics, that is related rate constant Kr equal to rate in is equal to rate out. Now second consideration is dose consideration. So while designing sustained or controlled release dosage form, we can give we can divide the dose in two parts. First, initial dose, it is also called as primary or priming dose, also it is called as loading dose. And second dose is maintenance dose. Means in a single dosage form, the doses we are dividing into two parts, loading dose and maintenance dose. Now what is the advantage of dividing doses into two parts or two portions? So by graphically we'll see these blue lines, these blue lines indicate the curves of single dose, means we are not dividing dose into loading as maintenance. So what happens, as we know that the drug is releasing slowly, so definitely for an effective therapy our drug must reach the steady state plasma concentration. So as we have studied in biopharmaceutics also, that is when we are not using loading dose, then to reach the steady state plasma concentration it will take nearly 5 to 6 half-lives, biological half-lives. So 5 to 6 biological half-lives means it is a too long period. But instead of that, same dose if we divide into two portions, loading dose and maintenance dose. So this is first dose is called as loading dose. This red graph indicates the loading dose. So loading dose is higher, quite higher as compared to maintenance dose. So why it is given? Just to achieve the therapeutic level as quickly as possible. So this is first is loading dose, then relatively smaller maintenance doses are given. So this is maintenance dose, these are small maintenance doses. So name itself indicates maintenance doses means these are the doses which are used to maintain the steady state plasma concentration, and loading dose means to get the onset of action as quickly as possible. So this is dose consideration in sustained release drug delivery system. Now next point point in this novel sustained release, it is repeat action tablet. It is another type of the sustained or slow release or prolonged release dosage forms. Up to now we have seen sustained release, controlled release, time release or extended release dosage form. Now repeat action, it is a somewhat different category. So in this, what we are doing generally, we are giving two doses in a single dosage form. Say for example, we can take here the example of repeat action tablet. So this is the design of repeat action tablet. This central green part, it is a core tablet which contain one dose, and this blue color, it is a outer coating of tablet or outer layer of tablet which contain a second dose or second dose. So actually this one tablet contains two doses. So actually these two core tablet and this outer layer of tablet, these are divided by a enteric coating. Now what do you mean by enteric coating? So enteric coating means this is the coating done which with the help of polymers which are having pH dependent solubility. Means these are the polymers which will dissolve at higher pH, means generally the intestinal pH. So they will release the drug in enteron, that's why they are called as enteric coated or enteric coat for the tablet. Means what? Now after this design of tablet, when we administer this tablet, this outer blue color layer, it is meant for immediate release, means similar to that of conventional tablet. It will disintegrate quickly and it will dissolve the drug and drug absorption will be there. But this core tablet which is coated with the enteric coat, so what happens, this enteric coat, this polymer, as we know that they are having pH dependent solubility, means they will not dissolve at acidic pH. So in stomach and upper part of intestine, this core tablet will remain intact, it will not release the drug. But this core tablet, when reaches to the distal part of intestine, our GIT, then where the pH is above 6.5 or 7, so at that time what will happen, this coating, enteric coating will dissolve, and again this contents of this tablet, drug from this core tablet, it will get released, similar to that of outer layer, that is immediate release. Means it is not a slow action. Once the coating is released or coating is dissolved, drug will release immediately. Means in a single tablet we can give two doses which act as a giving of two conventional doses in a single dosage form. So consequently, when enteric coat surrounding the second dose is breached, means broken by intestinal fluid, the second dose is released immediately. So this is the basic concept of repeat action tablet. Now graphically we will see how the repeat action tablet graph, if you compare repeat action tablet graph and sustained release tablet graph. So the graph of plasma drug concentration versus time. So this is the curve for sustained release, means slow release of tablet. But while repeat action tablet first dose, it is as or this curve will mimic, or it will be nearly similar to that of curve of a conventional dose of tablet or conventional tablet. And after say for example 5 hours or 6 hours, when the enteric coat is dissolved or ruptured, then second dose will release, again there will be a peak. So this is the plasma concentration versus time peak for a repeat action tablet. And the primary advantage of repeat action tablet over a conventional is that 2 or more than 2, sometimes 3 also doses can be administered without need to take more than one tablet. So this is the main advantage of repeat action tablet. So up to now in this chapter we have seen what do you mean by novel drug delivery system, what are the differences between controlled release and sustained release dosage form, what are the dose or basic consideration in sustained release dosage form, what are the types of novel drug delivery system. These basic things we have discussed. Hope you all have understood. If any difficulty, you can post on WhatsApp group. Thank you very